Okay, afternoon guys, how you all doing? Just thought I'd record your video rather than playing your slides. Most people seem to prefer this method, so here we go. Today just about doing research for your zine, primarily primary research. You guys should all know what this means by now, so let's crack on as soon as we can. Before we start, I know you're all begging for fish news. Got some flame dwarf gouramis last Friday. Fantastic little guys, absolutely lovely. They're a bit bigger than the other fish, but these really love them. Fantastic stuff. A guy I think that you should all be following on Instagram. Remember, I've started doing these every single week. This guy from Quito. Quito, if you don't know, is in Ecuador. I just thought these are some fantastic mark making textural designs that this guy produces. He's got thousands on his site. Really great illustrator, fantastic guy. I've spoke to him a good few times, and I really just love his work, and I thought it's quite inspirational, and thought you should have a look. The look of movement, especially on this second picture, is just fantastic. You get the whole feeling and the perspective of falling. It's such a lovely picture. And then he does things that are a lot more basic as well. This was the first one on the left, was for Inktober last year. If you don't know what Inktober is, Google it. It's well worth taking part in, especially if you're an illustrator. Some lovely work out there. And on the right, I really love this. She went mad after throwing her own child to the river. I like this because it's not only detailed in the outline and the structure and the overall aesthetic, but there's also a sketchy look about it. So when you're doing sketches, maybe this is a good way to look at it. A good way to start is a sketch doesn't have to be completely freeform and fast and over the tops and messy. It can follow a sense of structure as well, and I think this illustration demonstrates it perfectly. Some good stuff. Okay, so we move on. You probably all chose your subcultures by now. I just thought I'd have a little look at some of the subcultures that you might want to look into, or if you're struggling to find information on subcultures and you want to change your subculture, just thought I'd include a few here for you folks. First of all, punks. Very much a political aesthetic. If you look at punk history, you'll see all about how it started and the reasoning why punks dress the way they do, the reasoning for the hairstyles. Again, it's got a sense of music attached to it as well. Most subcultures do, to be fair. Certainly musical based subcultures, obviously. Punk is definitely one of these. Very much a do-it-yourself sort of subculture. Then move on. Goth. Again, goths very much got their own sort of image, their own sort of design, wear a lot of black, that sort of thing. You'll see here, just images. Goth is definitely a subculture in its own right, and can produce some really fantastic stuff. Everything from sort of like Victorian design to horror design can all fit under the goth banner. Victorian moves into things like steampunk as well, but steampunk's kind of like an offshoot, really. Great style. Love goth. Absolutely fantastic. Mods. Mods are sort of like very much defined by. We're talking very much a 60s, 70s sort of thing. 10 points for anybody who knows the bloke in the middle on the bike on the left hand side. This is taken from a film called Quadrophenia. If you've not seen Quadrophenia centres around the mod subculture. Mods also, we're talking scooters, Lambretta scooters, all that sort of thing. Piaggios, with loads and loads of mirrors, loads and loads of lights, but also a style that was, did the classics as long haired years ago. We obviously think of something a lot different nowadays when we think long hair. But smart suits as well. Quite menacing, to be fair, especially if you're around sort of like, I don't know, the beaches of Brighton. Many years ago when mods and rockers used to basically all meet and have a bit of a fist fight. Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah, not a pretty sight. But yeah, mods. Coined music, you're talking things like The Jam, you're talking things like Paul Weller. A lot of Northern Soul comes under the mod subculture also. Drag, probably one of my favourite all-time subcultures. Drag, brilliantly shown here by Courtney Act on the right hand side, and Bianca Del Rio, two of my favourite drag queens of all time. Fantastic aesthetic, somewhat moved into the mainstream in recent years with the uprise of RuPaul's Drag Race, but there are still underground forms of drag. I'm happy to talk to anybody about drag for as long as you want. Next, let's move on. Monster drag. This is one of the more of an underground type of drag that's basically erupted over, I don't know, about the past 5 to 10 years. I might be quite naive with that, to be fair, but yeah, you've got some great drag queens here as well. On the left hand side, Vanda Von Odd, I've had the pleasure of meeting. She's absolutely fantastic. The Boulay brothers in the centre, and I think that's probably Euphoria on the right hand side. Yeah, if monster drag is your thing and the sort of thing that you want to be looking at, I thoroughly recommend looking up Dragula, which is spelled like Dracula but with a G instead of a C, on YouTube, and it's kind of like RuPaul's Drag Race for monster drag. Next, and yes, I thought I'd include Mexican pointy shoes. No, seriously, this is a subculture that is specifically local to Mexico. I think it may actually even be only a couple of cities in which Mexican pointy shoes are a subculture. But yeah, these are completely serious about what they do. To us, these look very odd. To us, these look very sort of strange, and why keeps coming back to. But yeah, I think it's very much to do with it's sort of like it fits in to the culture in sort of way that line dancing fits in, I think. But it's pretty much line dancing with pointy shoes on. I don't know an awful lot about this subculture, if I'm honest, but that's not to say that it's not one of these sort of more extravagant subcultures that's worth doing. Have a look, Mexican pointy shoes. Some great videos out there actually of Mexican pointy shoes. I had quite a lot of enjoyment watching. Yeah, if you're completely stuck, I'd have a little look on Wikipedia. There is a list of subcultures there. Choose one. Wikipedia is as it's edited by everybody. We know it's edited by everybody. Wikipedia has some subcultures that I would recommend you don't do. Wikipedia suggests that crackheads are a subculture. I would not do this for your scene. Can I just repeat that, please? Do not do that one. There are a few also other ones that you should not do. There are some on there also described as subcultures that if you were to search them on the college computers, you would more than likely get flagged and kicked out of the classroom. I will leave it to you to go and have a look at the ones I mean, but when you get there, I'm sure you'll understand what I mean. Okay, so I presume now we all have a subculture that we want to work with. Brilliant. So yeah, we are just week one, cracking off zine. Zine is a hard project. Let me just say, zine seems like something that's going to be very fun, but it is work. Now this is a work. It's a difficult one, but you are all ready for it and you are all more than capable. Please do not underestimate the zine project. So as always, stay in touch, ask for help if needed. If I'm talking, although I won't be talking because I'm on this video, you need 100% of your attention, make your most of your time in your session, bring all your work to each session and back up all your work every evening. Today is going to be about exploring primary and secondary research methods. You must understand the difference between primary and secondary research methods. You should create an online survey and create a series of questions for data gathering, and you could have specific groups or people in mind that they have identified for use within the research section of this task. Looking for creating a survey to conducting research. What I'd like you to just have a think about it for 2 or 3 minutes, ponder it. I'll even let you go and make a cup of tea. So let's say 5 minutes, come back. Why is primary research better than secondary research? Think of all the things that primary research could be. Okay, I'll let you pause your video now and come back in 5 minutes time. Okay, so hopefully now you're back. Primary research, I would suggest one of the main reasons it's better. Well, a few actually. One of the main reasons is it's current. It's completely current. Secondary research could have been, taken any time, but primary research is always current. And another thing as well is primary research. You have to really try for it to be wrong. What do I mean by this? If you take a cross section of people, say you take 50 people as to do a survey with, and ask them, do they prefer Coke to Pepsi? If 100% of them say that they prefer Coke, then this is your findings. You put down this as I found that. This across 100 people. Whether this is actually correct, whether this is a cross section of society as a whole, is irrelevant in this moment. Primary research is based on your findings. You can produce data based on what you have found. So I would say, rather than looking up, see what somebody else has said about it, or generally what case may be, primary research is something that you've found. So where does this fit in? Right, this is going directly into task 2. So this is conducting research into your audience. We've got to look at certain aspects of your audience as well. So this is going to be all about that, looking at the age, gender, socioeconomic grouping, lifestyle and location. So with all these things in mind, just read over this again. Conduct research into your audience, including looking at the age, gender, socioeconomic grouping, lifestyle and location. This is the part, this is your pass merit distinction for task 2. Okay, what I'd like you to do now for 30 minutes, folks, I'd like you to search online for any groups, clubs or online gatherings of people who identify as members of your chosen subculture. So what you might do if you are looking at VR gaming, you might look for people who are into VR gaming. You might look for content creators for VR gaming. You might look at shops that sell VR. Create a list of people or groups who you can contact to find out more information. So this is basically if you can find some an interest group, say on Facebook. If you're doing Mexican point issues, join a Facebook group that specialises in Mexican point issues. Look at all the members who are a part of the Mexican point issues Facebook group. Have a look. These are your contacts. I don't need to see a list of your contacts, but you are going to require them. Please make a list of as many people as you can who either are content creators or groups or clubs or just people who have an interest in that subculture. If you're doing goths, then look for people who identify themselves as goths or people who identify themselves as in the gothic subculture. This sort of thing. We need to get as much contact information as possible. This will all become clear. I understand that some are going to find it harder with the subcultures you chose, but you chose a subculture. So this is going to be a bit harder work for you. I'm more than happy to help out anybody who needs a bit of hand as well. So for 30 minutes, please just create a list of contact information, email addresses, web links to groups, that sort of thing. Okay, 30 minutes starting now. Please pause your video now. Okay, now what I'd like you to do, please go to surveymonkey.com. Create yourself an online survey for free. You get to ask, in order to do a completely free survey, you can only ask 10 questions maximum on the survey. Okay, I'd like to create a survey and prepare interview questions to gather information on your subculture. What we're looking to do is get as much quantitative data as possible. So, not qualitative, quantitative. Okay, So yeah, we're not looking for people's opinions. We're looking for things like the age, gender, socioeconomic grouping, lifestyle, and location. Do you remember, as we said in when I did the bit on the brief, when I showed you the highlighted part of the brief? Age, gender, and location. These are the sort of things. Well, let's start with age and gender. Yeah, these are very basic. So yeah, you might want to do, you know, sort of like blocks of what age are you, 16 to 24, 25 to 35, that sort of thing. You know, gender. Obviously, yeah, quite obvious what you should put. Please also put a box for prefer not to say. This is only polite. Okay. Socioeconomic grouping questions. So socioeconomic grouping questions. It's quite a taboo to ask people how much they earn. How else can we find out socioeconomic grouping? Maybe through slightly different sorts of questions. What I mean by this is, you know, do you rent your house? Do you own your house? You know, that sort of thing. Are you where do you shop? It's a supermarket. Do you prefer to shop at Lidl? Do you prefer to shop at Waitrose? This shows different types of socioeconomic groups. Do you own a car? Do you even drive? Something like that. What a good one that I heard the other day was someone said, if you broke your mobile phone today, what mobile phone could you afford to go and buy by the end of the month? So this would basically tell you something about the people. So if they said, oh right, I'll just go out tomorrow and buy an iPhone 11, this is going to be completely different by someone saying, I really don't know what I'd do. I'd probably buy something second hand for about 20 quid. You know, this is showing socioeconomic grouping questions and lifestyle questions. So lifestyle questions, these are the sorts of things like do you smoke? How many units of alcohol you drink? These are going to be different from group to group. Also, location. Try and find out if there are any locations where this subculture is a lot more prevalent. By this, I mean, so like say we said the pointy shoes, it's definitely pretty much Mexico. Or is this something that's sort of like very much just all over one country? Say like the original punks, the original punks, not the sort of like offshoot of punk, was very much a UK thing. You know, with some offshoots into like America, round about the turn of the 80s. But to begin with, there's certainly it has its roots in the UK. Other things like goths as well. I'd say goths come from a love of things like Bram Stoker's Dracula, and often you'll find there's a large goth festival in Whitby that happens once a year. Probably didn't happen this year because of the pandemic. But yeah, where are the locations? So thinking about this, so if we're going for a 10 question survey, age, gender, and location, that's 3 of your questions. I would then perhaps say at least 3 or 4 on the socioeconomic grouping. So rather than just asking them what their wage is, you know, because nobody's going to tell you that. And then 2 or 3 on the lifestyle questions. I'll let you do that now. I've rabbited on for far too long on this. Let's create this survey. So you've got 45 minutes. Create the survey starting now. Please pause your video now. Okay, so over half term, what I want you to do, please collect as much data as possible on your chosen subculture. Send emails, tweets, Facebook messages, posts with your questions on to as many people as possible. Look at your contact list. You may want to add to your contact list. Let's gather as much data as absolutely possible. Always remember to be polite and patient when asking people to fill in a survey or a questionnaire. So you are going to work as far as conducting research to your audience. From this, you're going to be able to then make not assumptions, but because you're going to make educated assumptions based on so you'll be able to say for my research group, I found that Okay, does that make sense? I certainly hope so. That's pretty much it. So that's over half term. You're more than welcome to crack on with that now if you wish. Let's get collecting some data. So what we've done today, more importantly, where does it fit into the assignment? Like I said, it fits in here. Conducting research into your audience, looking at the age, gender, socioeconomic grouping, lifestyle and location. And that is the end of today's lesson. Thank you very much, folks. Have a wonderful half term. And I will see you when we get back, hopefully back in the classroom. Okay, take care, folks. Thank you very much. Bye bye.